Good morning. All right, happy Monday. Today is this week is going to be a short week because of the Christmas holidays and everything here. I'm only going to be able to stream today and tomorrow, and then I won't really have access to high-speed internet anymore, which it's a little bit sad. Also, I won't have like my entire rig, so I don't even know if I'm going to try to make videos to upload later. Last time I took a trip to this location, I couldn't even upload anything. I tried to upload just like even some photos that I gotten, and it took all night. And good morning, Miguel. I know, so it's gonna be more of like a true vacation, except I'll take my computer and probably work on some little programming things here and there. It'll just have to be all completely offline. The other thing that I'm gonna play with that one of my friends and they were telling me about the new Steam Play stuff that basically you could play any Windows game on Linux now, and I haven't like fully played around with it, but I did activate it and sort of take a look at the interface, and I want to try that, like take a Windows only game on my Linux laptop and see whether or not it actually is playable, because that's a pretty big game changer for a lot of things, if they've actually got that set up and working properly. All right, so what do we have here? It's pretty much like continuing on and fixing all of these type problems where we have like an I16 and grid cells count is an F32, so we just have to keep on changing these all to I16s to make all of the errors go away. So it's probably not going to be the most exciting of streams either, but I guess that shows that refactoring sometimes isn't the most exciting thing to do. I guess this is this one. Multiple actionable items in scope. Okay, so point new, this is going to have to be a grid cell size is an I16. Cells Y is an I16. I would think that point would be able to figure that out, but I guess I have to tell it it's I16. Oh, I don't think I tell it here. I think expect destruct point. Yeah, okay, so it's not all right, where was it? I need to say what type of point I want to use. I'm passing in I have to wait for it to finish testing. Okay, so you're upset because multiple actionable items in scope, multiple new found for point T, but this is an I16, and this is also an I16. So if you come here to point, there's an I16 new. So my thought is that this point would be this, but I guess it's not. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm really confused that it's unable to figure this one out. I'm wondering if I should come back to this one and see with maybe it's just RLS in VS Code that's like freaking out, because it should really be able to figure this out. Yeah, I can't help but feel that this is just VS Code being silly. Okay, so let's go to this one. Mismatch type. So start grid is type what? Well, start grid is not type error. What? That is so wrong. self.width, expected type float, found type I16, self.width is I16, I16. I feel like you're very wrong. Can't compare float with I16. I think the editor is having a Monday, a case of the Mondays. Okay. So let mute start grid equals 0.0. I agree with this. You kind of set yourself to be a float. So if I just go to 0, now you should be happy. All right, that one is happy. The error message on that, it was like, oh, this is a type error. It's like, what are you thinking about? All right, the size values for type of just an array in here is unknown. That lines equals, so this is an array slice, or just an array. And it's having trouble figuring what this is because the points can be many different sizes. Now is the multiple items again. Start grid I16. This one I agree with. This needs to be a 0. Start grid is an I16 and start height is an I16. This should hopefully make these all go away and everything should be fine again. Well, okay. Sort of. It still doesn't like these new. Now with lines, the size for values of type F32 cannot be known at compilation time. So I think it's because, well, F32's like the maximum possible could be there. I wonder if we need to turn this into a vector and then hand it just a slice of that. Then we do graphics, lines. Yeah, we might. I'm wondering if we actually need a vec. I'm going to come back to this one and see if maybe there's another one of the VS Code is being stupid things. Okay, so start grid once again is the wrong type. We'll fix that with that. And then we're going to have the exact same problem. And you know what? This is creating the grid manually, and we're now going to have the, we're actually going to have at a full grid system. So we don't need this at all. This is just for creating a grid. So I can remove you. I can also remove you. Deleting code is nice. Okay, then we have our graphics present and our context, and that should be okay. A bunch of random squiggly lines that mean nothing. Okay, and then our tests. So with these, they need to be I16s, so not floats anymore. And these need to be I16s. And I think that will make the test pass. All right, so we only have this silly error up here. I don't know about that one. But main.rs, we told width. Well, okay, we have height and width here. Expected U32, found I16. So I think we need to now convert this to an I16. And so I'm wondering if I can do a dot into here. Apparently we cannot for height. The trait bound U32 standard convert from I16 is not satisfied. Oh, it's not implemented for U32, so I can't really do that. So I16 can't figure out how to go to U32. Is it unsigned? Oh, it's because an I32 can be negative, and U32 cannot be negative. So this led on to the next question is, do we want to, I remember now on Friday, so we just went through all of this, but do we need to now tell it everything to be like a U16? So if we think about it, a U16 is between 0 and whatever maximum that is, whereas an I is like a negative number to a positive number. If I do, I think I can still be happy with the grid, even though I can't go into negative numbers. I can just say, hey, if I'm on 0, 0 and I want to move left, you just die. So in that case, I think in that case, I'm going to have to convert everything to U16s. Okay, U16. And U16s should be able to go into floats. I hope. So let's try this. Gonna save. Let's try. You're still upset here. So instead of I16s, if we go back into point and we make these, so we have an F32 and we make this a U16. So you're going to be a U16 and you are going to be a U16 and so are you. So GG easy 0.2. Okay, so this should be fine. I kind of wonder, because you're a U16, so we've got that. What if I just do into? Will you work? To be a little bit more consistent with our use of like into versus as or something else. Okay, so you're fine. Oh, add a sign. So you need to be U16. And besides that, you should be fine here. Implement clone for U16. Implement partial equal for U16. For our tests, of course. All right, and configure our tests, then these will all be U16s. We're no negative there. This needs to be a U. For add assigned points, you need to be U16. This is all fine. Okay, so for these points, U16. All right, that should all be fine. For clone here, this is also a U16. Partial equal U16. Okay, so this should all be fine now. All right, so point is happy. Let's go fix things, starting with bot. All right, so in here, pretty much, my thought is I'm just going to find everywhere where we say I16 and change this to U16. Let the compiler figure this out because that was a big change. Everything is happy. All right, live RS. Okay, so we're going to do the exact same thing everywhere we see I16. I'm going to sort of update this to U16. That makes that happy, and of course, point new is still just complete. I don't even know what to say about this, but okay, that's live RS. Let's go to main. Window width, these can be U16s now. Now I think this also means the conversion here will be fine too. So I don't even know if we need something like this. We can just do const window height like that, width and height. Then we come down to here, and all of these need to be U16s. U16. Okay. Now this height into, so the height is a U16. Into attempted to take value of method into on type U16. Apparently, I did forget to do the parentheses. Okay, so no errors. We're able to convert it into F32s and we're able to convert it into U32s. So perfect. That's what we like. Window, okay, so that, I don't think we need this here anymore because we have this const. So we don't need to create that. Configure config file dimensions width into. I think these should be now window width, window height, and then you are going to be the same thing. So window width, window height. Also main state, you don't need to be an into, do you? Because I think main state is taking them as U16s. Expected F32, you don't need to be an F32. Okay, so let's go into lib. In the main state, U16. What? Main state, new. Oh, the new function. No, width and height is U16. Why? Main state. Why are you doing this? It's clearly U16. All right, so the editor is still in a weird state. Let's go ahead and redraw the bots. I think those are still working. I don't think I broke those, but it has been a while. So with that, let's actually come and try to run this. So cargo run. Let's see what breaks. Multiple, really, so this is an actual cargo error. Multiple applicable items in scope. Multiple new found. That's a terrible error. So basically this is point, multiple new found for F32. Well, I mean, considering that I'm barely using F32 anywhere, and I don't have an F32 point, I kind of feel like if I comment you out, will anything yell at me? Bot or S will. Self.location Y is a U16. Arena height is a U16. Wait. Self.radius is a U16. Arena height is a U16. And self.location on T, if I don't do an into, you should be happy. In fact, I don't think I need to do an into for any of these. Okay, so you're happy there. Main RS, you're unhappy again. Grid cells. Expected to use 16, found a float. Grid cells, yes. You are the wrong type. So is this something new in Rust, or is it just because I haven't played with generics and doing like different things with types? Because I'm really kind of, it feels kind of weird that the new point, like it says that there's multiple news that it could use, but there was only one that it actually could use because of the types. All right, let's try this again. All right, just all the normal errors. It's building. All right, now we get our one bot that's moving slowly down and to the right. So we've got it working. Our refactor worked. We were factored to U16s. So I'm gonna close all these windows. And let's go ahead and send this all up. So using U16s everywhere. And pushing that up. Okay, so maybe point new 16 new. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Yeah, it is pretty interesting. It kind of makes me want to. What version of Rust up? I want to see if I'm using. No, I'm not. Okay, so maybe part of the problem is I'm not using the latest version of Rust. So if I switch to this, and then we come while that's happening, I come to the cargo.toml. And after U, I want to now do addition equals 2018. I'm curious if this will work. I think, Miguel, I think you're right. I think it was the : then turbofish syntax, then : new. I think that's what I was missing. It still feels a little bit weird to have to do that because I'm clearly handing it U16s. It should be able to figure that out. But maybe that was one of these problems. Okay, so if I have U installed, I have U sitting here. Can I do cargo run? And it's probably gonna have to recompile. Ooh, new errors. Okay, so did you mean crate point? Unresolved import point. Oh, is this because of the new import rules? I know that they did something for it. So use point. So this is in mod RS. I don't need you anyways for right now. So let's try this again. Okay, imports can only refer to extern crate names passed with -- extern on stable channel. Huh. So in LibRS we have modbot usebot. Not an extern crate passed with -- extern. Do I not need mod at all anymore? Is that what it's trying to tell me? So this is librs line 12. use bot. So do I not need that? Of course, VS Code is going crazy. Wandable, thank you for the host. Okay, so now we need to run it with this to see if this works or if it's even worse now. Okay. Now it's saying point. Yeah, down here, now it has use of undeclared type or module bot. Oh, it's supposed to be use crate. Got it. So it's use crate : bot. I don't think. Okay. Let's try this again. We'll slowly fix all these 2018 errors. All right, so mod point, use point. Okay, so with lib. This is now point. If I get rid of u, and this is now going to be crate point. Okay, less errors. Unresolved import crate point. Maybe missing an extern crate point. So is this where, do I still need the mod? So mod point. Use, okay, so now in bot, it wants me to use crate point. Okay, so in bot. See, here is in crate, so use crate point. All right, and we're back to only having warnings again. I'm actually kind of surprised that it didn't have to recompile everything. But yeah, this is really interesting how to use the new module system, because I was reading about it, but I was a little bit confused about what they were saying, like how it's actually going to work, and the error messages were actually really good in order to like figure that out. It just is unfamiliar, but it kind of makes sense. Also, did you notice my editor was auto updating the locations of these to like go up here? So it's the sort of like change and fix on save is getting better and better. The blog is really long, so there's a nice like sort of read to go through and see all the changes that they made. Okay, so now I can say that we updated to 2018 edition. And I'll push that one up too. Okay, so what's next? The entire point about this was that we can have the grid system and then eventually draw that to the screen. And that's kind of like what we're going for here. So if I close all of you, come back to here, we wanted a game grid. And so in librs, we're having a mod game grid. Now, I don't think we've done anything with it here. No. We have grid cell size, but this isn't being used yet. Then we come to game grid mod, and this is completely empty here because we realize that when we create this, we're going to need to have a cell and test that first. So if we have a cell, then we just came here. So a cell, we're going to have the coordinates, which is going to be a type point, and a piece, which is going to be a bot. Well, it's actually not going to be bot. A piece is going to be an enum, which could be a bot, or it could be nothing at all, or an item, or a bullet, or something like that. And then we're just going to repeat that all everywhere. And so if we take a look at our tests here, so if we create a 3x3 column and 3x3 grid, we're going to just pass it in the number of columns and rows. We're going to create a vector of, so it can't be these new points. We instead need to like actually create the cells, and we need to test that. So instead of like doing something like this, we would probably just want to test one of them, for example. Just make sure that that one of these worked. So we don't even need, so we would probably want to bring in the grid cells and create a new one based upon these. So create new grid cell. I wonder if I can do this here. And then we can insert equal. All right, so now that we know that this is sort of what we want to do here, we're going to go to game grid cells. Going to re-enable this. Now in this mod, we need to use the game grid cells, otherwise we won't be able to get the testing working on this, I believe. Also, we didn't actually run the test, did we? Let's make sure the tests are all passing too. Cargo test. All right, perfect. So those are all working, and we're getting everything we sort of need out of here. If I just create a simple test, so function game grid cell new, we already know what we want out of here. I'm kind of gonna just cut this out, put this down here. We know that when we give it, so let cell equals game grid cell new, and we're going to pass it the coordinates of where it is. So this will be something like 1, 2. So that will be 1 over 2 down. And what we have in it. So this is going to be like, I was calling it like the piece, but maybe it could be like the token. I'm sort of thinking board game, and it's like the board game, you have like the pieces, the tokens that you physically put onto the board. I'm thinking of like calling it something like that, because I don't really else know what it would be. So like I guess I don't want to call it actor, because I'm not really sure if that's appropriate here, because there are actually things of actors, and I don't think, my understanding is still a little bit new of those. I don't think that these are really actors. So I think like token or piece. I think one of those. Now this is still part of the game grid, so this is probably going to be, so we need this first. So let's now create an enum, and I'm not sure if this is the best way to do this. I'm going to create this enum in here. And I think it's because I'm trying to break things out as much as possible. And enums are a type and sort of like a data structure kind of thing. So it's part of the game grid. So therefore it's going to go into this folder, but it's just sort of a separate thing, if that makes sense. Okay, so if I do this, what should we call this? Piece.rs, and we're gonna go an enum piece. I think it's piece. No, oh my God, nothing looks right. That looks slightly more right. Let's go to Google piece. Definition. Also, I love that I tried to go to Google, but I didn't really do it right, and so therefore I still went to DuckDuckGo. Okay, so piece, definition of piece. Okay, so that is right. It's I before E, just like normal. All right, so enum piece. In here, what do we have the possibility of? Well, it could be empty, and that would just be this, empty. It can also be a bot, which would be type. It would be a reference to a bot. So how? I guess this is going to be use create. Where does this come in? Use create in lib. Use create bot. So in here, don't want to close it. Use create bot. So this is going to be a reference to a bot. I wonder if I have to give lifetimes for this. It's not upset at me yet. Okay, so we have empty, we have bot. There's going to be a bullet in it. I kind of wonder, maybe I should just keep this empty for right now. And that's what we're going to start with. Everything is empty, and then slowly we're going to add things into piece, and then build it out from there. I kind of like that a little bit more. I don't think we need testing for pieces because it's too simple, but I think you can do functions on them, but I'm not really going to worry about that. Okay, so piece is going to be empty. We need to import this. So bring this back in again. You need to not be brought in. So I think this is going to be in, we're going to mod in here. So mod piece. This looks in source game grid piece. Okay, perfect. Then we're going to use create piece. Okay, so you found it, so that's a good sign. Then in our test, we're going to, I guess when we create the new cells, it has nothing in it. We just need to tell it what location it's going to be, and that's going to be it. And it's probably going to default to a none. So now we're going to compare, and we're going to say, okay, we need a point. So use create point. Okay, so let coordinates equals point new, and we're gonna say this should be 1, 2. And we also know what the piece is going to be. Okay, so now we can say assert equal the cell dot coordinates should be equal to coordinates. All right, so that should be making sure that those two are the same. I believe that now that lifetimes can be referred when we have one lifetime or something like that. Oh, right, because the NLL thing. I thought that was coming in a different update. Confronts you with your effort you put into keeping up with the rest of updates. Well, I know that I'm not always on top of them also, but I guess like I'm trying, and so maybe is that a good thing? I hope it is. Okay, so we tested the coordinates. Now we want to test that the cell has nothing in it. So assert equal, it's going to be cell dot contains. That's the only thing I can think of right now. And this is we want to make sure it's equal to a piece empty. Why won't you piece empty? Yeah, that's right. Okay, so if I run you, we want to see the game grid cell new. Okay, so I did not see that, which means we need to actually come into library and use game grid cell. So not an extern crate, but we're going to, well, we have mod game grid. Good morning, stacking. So we have mod game grid, and it found that. So that's in here. We have mod piece. Oh, and we need to mod game grid cell too. This will be interesting to see how this works. I guess you don't need to be a mod piece, because you're, oh no, it does. Mod piece, game grid cell, use create piece. You do need to be colon. Okay, so that you should be fine now. Unused import, except it's right here. On the, oh, right, because it doesn't count because it's in a test. Game grid cell, failed to resolve. Right, because we also, well, this is game grid, oh right, doesn't exist. Of course it doesn't. So we're gonna save you. All right, well, you're happy enough that we now can move on. So we can do struct game grid cell. And we're gonna want coordinates, which is gonna be a point of an a U16. Firefox, good morning. I am coding a battle royale bot game where you play by just putting in instructions through code, and it sort of like puts a bunch of bots together and makes them fight to the death. Oh, and you got it stacking already. And Danny Fritz, you got it before I was able to give the feed, give my own explanation. And sort of like the unique thing about this game is it's made in Rust, the language, of course. It's mainly a learning piece for me to learn Rust and actually like do real things with it, as opposed to just keep on doing little learning, little fun, I don't know, like Code Wars type stuff. Okay, so if we have our coordinates and we also want contains, and this is going to be a piece. Making to-do apps 3,000 times ain't coding. Sometimes it feels like that. Okay, so unresolved import, create piece. Did I mean game grid piece? Oh, interesting. No, I meant this piece. Because I'm in game grid piece. Oh, is that how it works now? So do I have to do colon game grid piece. Okay, perfect. So now we come to piece and we make u pup. So we have updated to 2018 edition of Rust, which has the new rules for modules. Okay, so now we're fine, and now it's saying, okay, the new function is missing. So let's implement on game grid cell function new. We're gonna take in the x, which is going to be a u16, and a y, which is a u16. And I don't think we need anything else here. We're going to return a new game grid cell. And so this is going to be relatively simple. We're going to just say game grid cell. And it's going to be coordinates. So this will be coordinates is a point, new x and y. And then for our contains, so contains is going to be a piece empty. Up an Amber Alert. I don't usually drive these days, so it's tough for me to keep my eyes out for those, but are they an error or just redundant? For what? I'm not sure which thing. Oh, piece doesn't have partial equal, so we may have to implement partial equal for piece. That feels I guess nope. I guess I want to do contains empty. No, I want to see what it actually is. So I do need to come into piece now and implement. So implement what was it? Because I added this in, it stopped showing the error message. Okay, so binary operation cannot be applied to type game grid piece. and implementation of standard compare partial equal. Okay, so that's what we need. So in here, in piece, let's use standard compare partial equal. Let's implement that. So implement partial equal for piece function. I really wish that it would. Guess I'll have to wait for it to error for me so that way I can see. Missing function equal. Okay, so function equal. We can see that it takes in a reference to self and to other, which is a reference to the right hand side. Okay, so reference to self and reference to other, other, which is a type piece. And we're going to return a Boolean. So I think what we can say, I wonder if I have to like go through and test everything here. So like if I guess because I could put piece : colon. So for right now, it's if other is equal to self empty. Return true. And I think what we're going to have to do is like do essentially this. Otherwise return false. Cannot find value in empty and module self. Huh, okay, so you can't. Equal is an incompatible type for trait, expected reference, found enum, game grid piece. Oh yeah, it's been 1.2% of the stream has been dropping. That kind of sucks. I'm sorry about that, Stacking. I wonder if it's because everybody's getting up really early to go do Christmas shopping. And that's why? Or maybe there's some kind of like other thing going on. Okay, so I don't think I thought through fully about how to actually compare equal, or maybe I just don't understand enums enough. So equal is an incompatible type for trait, expected a reference. You need to be a reference. If you're a reference, now you cannot find value empty in module.self. I guess other is the piece. So would it be this? Other is piece. So would it be like that? Instead of self, do piece. Fail to resolve use of unclear type or module. Other. What? Wait, it's declared right there. Okay, so let's think about this. Self is this one. I believe that is, right? So I don't think we can do this, right? This doesn't make any sense. Or at least I don't feel that it makes any sense to me. Like, I guess I don't really understand, because isn't this literally what this is doing? And by implementing this, okay, I guess I don't need this. I could just do return other equals self. Yeah, sure. I'm asking, does this piece value equal this other piece value? I just wish I could be more explicit about it, I guess. I imagine there's a shortcut partial equal you can do above the enum, though. Oh, like derive partial equal if that exists. Oh, interesting. Is there, in the last couple minutes, is there a Rust lang? If we go to the documentation, is there a list? I have to go to learn. Standard library. Is there a list of the derives? In here? Actually, it doesn't look like there is. I don't see any place where it would even be here. Okay. Rust lang derive. Derive macros. That's from a rendered obsolete blog. GitHub pull request. Standard default. Oh, Rust by, okay, so there's the Rust by example. So Firefox, you gave me that. Let's try it. We can make this bigger. The compiler is capable of providing all of these. I just sort of wish that it was in, not just in Rust by example, but yeah, that would be nice. Okay, yeah, so derive partial equal. So you are correct, Danny, that we could do that. So instead of this, let's try, what is it? It's, can I do derive? Oh yeah, I do. Okay, so partial equal like that. And I don't even think I need this use anymore. So if I save you, you're fine. Game grid cells is still upset. Game grid piece doesn't implement standard format debug. Wait, is that what it's doing to print these out? It's using debug? Is that also debug? It does feel strange they don't have that. All right, so that is correct in there. All right, so working tests again. So now we have our game grid cell, game grid cell. This test should pass. Let's go ahead and run it. I've lost some more frames, so that's not a good sign. And did I get, okay, and here's the game grid cell, game grid cell, game grid cell, game grid cell new. All right, so tests are passing with that. I'm going to go ahead and just say like, hey, it's clearly my computer is feeling the Mondays today. So I think this is going to be it for right now. We're going to continue on and sort of like building out the game grid, which first means these game grid cells, which I think we have now. And so we'll be going back to the mod and doing this tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and close all these. Going to have the ability to create a new game grid cell. Push this on up, and let's go and actually find that code, and I'll put it into chat in case you all want to see it. All right, so BRcodeGG. Apparently somehow opened up another window, even though I didn't press the middle mouse button. Oh, interesting. My mouse, I was wondering what sound was going on. Is my mouse, I have a little bit of cardboard on the table, and my mouse cable is sort of rubbing against that and creating, the sounds like some little creature walking around. All right, so let's go ahead and just grab this, come back to here. And here's a location of where you can find all the code that I've been working on. It is pushed up. It is technically working. Before I go, I'll do one last run of this. So cargo run. It runs. It doesn't do very much right now because I only have one bot set up for it. That is a test bot. Things are going to have to change as we create the grid instead of just pixels. But as you can see, it is actually asking a Node.js bot by actually running a command and saying, hey, what do you want to do? Also, this feels like it's faster. Like this is actually running a little bit faster now. So that's actually a good sign. I like that. So with that, I'll be back tomorrow morning around 5:30. No, that's when I wake up. 6:30 a.m. Mountain Time. I stream for about an hour, and of course, tomorrow will be the last stream before I go off on the holiday vacation, and then I'll come back sometime closer to the new year. Stay tuned to Twitter. I'll put my stream ending, even though the times are slightly wrong on it, but it has a link to my Twitter account. So in case you want to follow me there, because that's where I will announce when I'll be coming back and what times, just in case the schedule changes. So with that, I hope that you all have a great rest of your day, no matter what time it is. I'll be doing the same, and I'll see you all tomorrow morning.